fiction has a weird fascination when it comes to radiation. It can bestow you with spider powers, godly strength and speed, sight, hearing, and etc. In reality, its only superpowers is unevenly cooking your hot pockets and giving cancer. In the world of Chernobylite, it's the ultimate MacGuffin, being able to bend space and time, travel between different dimensions, and creating superpowered weapons. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Chernobylite is a survival horror game set after the Chernobyl disaster. The radiation blankets the lands, becoming inhospitable, hostile, and stocked with inhuman monsters. But the source of this disaster is one of the most vile, toxic, disgusting, sickening, and inhumane corporation in gaming history. Blizzard. Whoop! The NRA. Despite Chernobyl going through a nuclear meltdown and monsters overtaking the lands, the NRA insists pursuing Chernobylite. An all-powerful MacGuffin, like I stated earlier, can pretty much do anything. We play Igor Kamiuk, a scientist that took part in the Chernobyl disaster, and his wife has gone missing as a result of it. He bands with higher help to infiltrate the NRA to figure out the disappearance of his sweetums, Titania. Things quickly go sideways when the Black Stalker intervenes and kills one of the hired helpers. Outdone, Igor and Olivier bail through a wormhole that Igor can create with Chernobylite. Regrouping at base, both are unsatisfied with the end results, so before striking again to stop the NRA and find Igor's wife, they need a better plan, more manpower, and they are properly equipped. They head out to the broken world to recruit potential candidates for their suicide mission, while avoiding the NRA, the Black Stalker, and cosmic zombies. During their quest, Igor will have to make a series of choices that could benefit or damage their cause, as well affect their companions. Chernobylite's storytelling, colorful character interactions, and impactful decision making made the 20+ hour campaign thoroughly enjoyable. Igor's journey to unravel the truth about Titania and the NRA's true intentions was really compelling and a blast to watch unravel. Throughout the story, you must make difficult decisions that will benefit the group or serve to piss off some of them.
What the hell was that?
I don't have time for cowards and pussies, which is what you are. Piss off!
I'm happy to report that your choices can have a short or long-reaching effects on the story or characters. Well, mostly your companions. Too many of the wrong choices that go against their interest, and they'll leave you. If you didn't like the outcome of certain choices, you can always self-annihilate to go back and change the events. I really love this mechanic for two reasons. One, it's explained in the in-game's universe, making the storytelling even more immersive. Two, it makes replaying the game extremely enjoyable. No need to make 1 billion save files. Just a couple of radioactive crystals, kill yourself, and change the past. However, if you have additional companions prior to that event, then they will react and be affected by your new choice.
Stay in the bunker for now. Even if he's a prisoner, he's protected.
Gore.
Let the little wolf go. You can't leave him in that cage. It's inhuman.
The kid should stay in the bunker for now. Even if he's a prisoner, he's protected. He's safer in there than outside.
This is a fascinating mechanic that's well thought out and a whole lot of fun to experiment with. Your companions aren't only affected by your choices. If you fail to provide a safe living space and food, then they will leave you. And trust me, you want a full team for the final mission. Before I get into that, I want to discuss the base and team management. Sadly, this is where the game falters a bit. Managing your base and team isn't a challenging task to perform. When it comes to the base management, you must ensure that your partners have a safe living quarters to operate in. You must manage power access, comfort, air quality, radiation, and sleeping space. I don't recall much critical thinking when it came to base management, because gathering items to craft what you need wasn't difficult. Majority of my playthrough, my inventory was stocked with items, and that was before unlocking the skill that increases the amount of items you get from simply finding them. Team management was also a bit of a letdown because I didn't see much of a purpose for experimenting with their equipment. You can send your partners out on missions to gather resources, but they can be killed or captured. However, Just give them a decent gun and armor, then send them on their merry way. Majority of the time, they'll come back unharmed and the mission went off without a hitch. So there was nothing that was compelling me to constantly experiment with their equipment. That doesn't mean they were successful 100% of the time. They can still end up getting captured, despite the fact that you give them the best armor and weapon. When that happens, you must purposely let yourself be defeated by the NRA, so they'll take you to their base, where you can easily break free of your confines and look for your captured teammates. But you need to find your bag containing all your equipment before you and your friend can escape. Word from the wise: if you are outmanned and outgunned, then stick to stealth. Going full on Rambo will have the unpleasant result of a holy Igor. Chernobylite is mostly a stealth game with enemies that could turn you into paper mache in seconds. For this reason, stealth takedowns or avoiding enemies are encouraged. If you want to disrupt a group of guards or creatures, then you can build traps. Some simply make noise or cause damage. Despite combat and stealth carrying a great amount of tension, the enemies aren't engaging. Majority of combat encounters are the NAR soldiers that only have 3 variations: normal, medium, and heavy. Sure, their dialogue does give them a little bit of a personality,
I should have taken that job at my father-in-law's factory. Shit.
but not enough to be engaging. And the same can be said for the monsters. There's only 2 types, and they both lack a compelling design that makes them memorable or intimidating. Yeah, sure, they can be a pain, but not really. The only real threat is the NAR. Well, there is the Black Stalker, a mini-boss that appears when Zeus is repping it. He's a teleporting tank that will wreck your shit if your trousers are at your ankles. It's the only real time the game dips into horror territory besides some cheap jump scares. He chases you around in the semi-open world and only will go away if you beat him or hide long enough. But he does not appear very often. Now, let's backtrack to that semi-open world comment. Chernobylite is an open world game in sectors. Each sector contains their own story and resource missions. These resource missions are supply, ammo, medical, and food drops. You do those when you want to grind items to craft benches to craft more items and modify weapons, look for secrets, or do side missions. Honestly, the side missions don't serve much of a purpose besides trying to spook you and gaining experience points. I wish there was a bit more to them. The story missions will have a series of events and choices. Based on your discoveries and choices, will shape those events and affect your teammates. These missions also take place in the same sectors. Thus, a lot of backtracking, giving you plenty of opportunities to familiarize the environment and danger zones. Admittedly, the world itself looks good and the dynamic weather change is a nice touch. I do appreciate how explorative the semi-open worlds are with secrets to find. Notwithstanding is the indoor environments. Truth be told, they all kind of look similar, not as pleasant to view, and aren't much fun to explore. So, what is the point of all these mechanics? The base and team management, gathering items, crafting, and decision making. It's all to prepare you for the final mission, the heist. I won't go into much detail, except to prepare for trial and error, which is good. It makes all the mechanics essential. The more you partake in those mechanics, the better prepared you are. The heist is quite fun, and you are allowed to do it anytime you desire. Yet, preparing for it wasn't hard. Like I've stated earlier, team and base management and resource gathering wasn't challenging. And this is on its default setting. I set the combat on a harder difficulty to challenge myself, but in hindsight, I should have put everything on a harder difficulty. The default difficulty devalues the resource gathering, the team and base management, and rationing food. From my personal experience, I recommend putting everything on hard or insane difficulty. Chernobylite is filled with fun mechanics that all work nicely together and feel essential to the final mission. Choices have rewards and consequences, the time traveling aspect offers great replay value, all of this having the backbone of an engaging story. However, the default difficulty does devalue the core mechanics and more dynamic enemy variety would be beneficial. I enjoyed exploring the good-looking outdoors and dynamic weather change, but that can't be said about the indoors. Samey, not as interesting to explore, and a bit confusing to navigate at times. I did very much enjoy my time with this game, and do recommend it if you like survival games that involve team and base management with a fun narrative. This is the Horror Connoisseur, signing off.